Hey everyone, welcome to PHLY Flyers Pregame presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We are live in the Xfinity mobile studio. My name is Steve Jaco. I will be your assistant to the director of fun and games while Bill Matz enjoys a well-deserved day off. I am delighted to say that we have another Steve Squared day here on PHLY as I am joined by the wonderful Steve Peters. Petey, how we doing today?
We're doing really well, except for everybody tuning in right now, Steve, to the PHLY, the big game, big tilt, Rangers Flyers. It doesn't get any bigger than Rangers Flyers matinee on a Saturday before Christmas, and everybody's coming in to look for Bill and Charlie. And guess who they're not going to see today?
And Charlie is nowhere to be found. He's stranded in Buffalo. I hope he's enjoying the wings.
Really is? Steve, do you think he really is?
No.
I'm concerned because we know it's a little chilly this time of year always, and potentially maybe there's a rumor that Charlie might be on a beach somewhere. Is that true?
Oh, I could see that. I could see that. No, I think Charlie, I think he's having a Home Alone day in New York City. He actually, he's there. He just didn't report to the game. He's in Central Park. You know, he's going to go see like an underground indie rock show later in the day. Like that's Charlie for you. He's just always skirting his hockey responsibilities.
Yeah, and I've
been fired, by the way.
I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go right to the chat early, Steve, because I'm going to go with Ruminatica, and I get the why is Torts on the podcast. I get so much are you related to John Torts? Are you his little brother? Like I get that all the time. I will say the difference. I'm going to smile a lot and be happy during the show, unlike the John Tortorella that many of us know.
I don't know if you caught Torts on the intermission during the Buffalo game the other night, but it was just very funny hearing a guy basically deny that he wanted to be the head coach of a team while also trying to be the head coach of a team.
Exactly. I tell you what, we won't get deep into the woods with Tortorella, but you never know. Every last job he has, I think it's the last job, and I guess you never know.
You never know, and
you never know.
You know, who wants to go to Buffalo with the ambiance and decor there? I don't know. I don't want to go there. I'm good, but you know, Charlie, hopefully he's doing good. He is missing a weird one today. This is going to be a weird, wild game.
Yeah.
We don't have the final lineup yet. We will report it as soon as we have it. But right now we do have some updates, and they don't bode well for our Philadelphia Flyers. Per Jordan Hall at NBC Sports Philadelphia, Dan Vladar and Christian Dvorak are out today. Danny Briere said the Flyers don't believe the injuries are serious. A little surprised it's the first we're hearing about the Vladar and Dvorak injuries, but this is hockey for you, right? Where they will keep everything as secretive as possible. It's upper body injury, lower body injury, no specifics at all. And of course, this is just coming in today. So big losses for the Flyers, though.
Yeah, and you look at Vladar, is probably like he's been solid all season long, but in 3 of his last 4 starts, he's given up 2 or less. And if you count the one overtime against Vegas, it's all 4 of them, 2 or less in the 60 minutes that they played. He's been exceptional, and he's one of the key reasons the Flyers are where they are. So this is a huge loss, especially in a building like Madison Square Garden and a matinee game where things can get a little testy a little bit early. And with Dvorak, I don't know if you can say enough about what he's done, not just of late, but the entire season as well. And it's about faceoffs. It's about playing in the defensive zone. It's about giving a spark offensively. Dvorak's been able to do everything he's been asked for the Flyers, and he's one of those players that does things right that really helps drive the bus, whether he ends up on the score sheet or not. And often he does. This is a huge loss. Faceoffs are going to be a big deal today, and I think the loss of Christian Dvorak and the glue that he has been on the top of this lineup over the last few games, I think it's going to be a big loss.
It's a big loss. I mean, he's third on the team in points right now, 23 points in 33 games played, 7 goals, 16 assists. He had some really great moves in that Buffalo game. He had 4 shots. He was tied for the team lead in shots in that game. And his chemistry with Trevor Zegras has been outstanding. I mean, they have just been on the same page. They are like one hockey player together, basically.
Dan, it's funny, though, when you say that, Steve, because the way these two guys are off the ice, they couldn't be more different. Like Christian Dvorak is that quiet, unassuming guy that doesn't like to do interviews, doesn't like to talk, doesn't want to be the center of attention. And then there's Trevor Zegras. And maybe that's why they're working so well on the ice, because I think Christian doesn't have a problem deferring to Trevor Zegras, meaning I don't think he has a problem moving the puck to Zegras and finding Zegras and letting Zegras be the guy. I think that's one of the strengths of Christian Dvorak is his ability to be that he doesn't need to have the spotlight. He doesn't need to be the flashy guy. He just helps everybody around him be better. So I think this is going to be a problem for Trevor Zegras, and curious. And I know we're waiting for the lines to come in, but does Zegras move over and move into the middle of the ice seamlessly? And I think he probably will. Looking at the lineup today, I would be surprised if Zegras didn't slide over into the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And on the one hand, it's disappointing that we're not going to have Dvorak in there because he's been very good this year. But on the other hand, it's exciting to have an opportunity to actually see Zegras at center. I know a lot of people have been clamoring to see him actually play the position that the Flyers need the most help at. So this is an interesting opportunity. I can't wait to see these lines because I'm fascinated. And we haven't even talked about, there's two other lineup things to talk about today. So the first thing, Garnet Hathaway actually healthy scratch today, which is wild timing considering everything else going on here. Nikita Grabenkin's back in the lineup. Noah Juleson comes out, but I don't think Juleson was in. I'm not sure, but they're saying he's coming out. But Ristolainen's been in there. I don't think the defense is going to have any changes. But the big exciting news that is right here in the middle here, and we kind of buried the lead, but I think people are pumped about this. Denver Barkey is making his debut, his pro debut he's been with the Phantoms, but his NHL debut with the Flyers. 20-year-old third-round pick in 2023. He's been playing with the Phantoms, as I mentioned, 16 points in 26 games played, 7 goals, 9 assists, 20 penalty minutes. Denver Barkey is a guy that people are excited about, and I think the only drawback on him is really his size. But overall, I think people are pumped. We've heard he's a tenacious hockey player. We have some quotes we're going to put up in a second. But how much do you know about Barkey, Petey?
Well, I think this is interesting. And the biggest thing on this call up, and I know we're going to get into it later on some of the things that Maddie said, is why not bump? Like, where's Bump? We've heard so much about Bump coming into the preseason, coming into this regular season, trying to find a roster spot early in the year, and we're seeing Denver Barkey right now. I think this is a good move for Denver Barkey, and a couple of reasons. I think it's important for him to get a taste of what's happening in the National Hockey League. I think it's important for players that are young to find their way to see, where am I? What's the gauge? How far do I really have to go to crack it in this league? And I think with the lineup the way it is today, with Zegras sliding over the middle, I shouldn't say this because I don't know where Barkey's going to play in today's lineup, but he's skilled enough to play in the top 6. He's a skilled guy that can distribute the puck extremely well. He can pass through seams. He can pass over sticks. He can find his teammates. He's a guy that you want to get him to deliver the puck to players like Michkov, to players like Zegras. That's what you want out of Barkey. Barkey, he's got enough offensive upside to score, but his forte is to distribute the puck. And they're going to need that offense today. This is a team that struggles to score on the road, and Barkey may be able to help that. Having said that, Steve, low expectations today, man. Set the bar low. Like, it's Madison Square Garden, incredibly pressure-filled situation for this 20-year-old to get his debut. Just come out of it even or better. Like, just go jump over the boards and don't make that big turnover. Don't make that big defensive zone mistake. Just try to play simple. Even if it's just today, you're throwing the puck off the glass and dumping it in from the neutral zone for a forecheck. That's okay. I don't mind seeing that on a guy, especially in his first game. Now, would we love to see a hat trick by Barkey with an empty net goal? Without a doubt. But let's keep the expectations low, and let's let him meet expectations so we can be happy with his performance afterwards.
Yeah, I think just be excited to see him out there, see what he can do. It could be a big weekend for rookies at MSG because just last night for the Philadelphia 76ers, VJ Edgecombe had a huge game against the New York Knicks. So maybe the rookies are just going to crush it at MSG this weekend, crush it at the train station.
Yeah, why not? Why not? And there's no morning skate. There's no time to get nervous. You don't have to sit all day worrying about it. You go right away, get up, have your good breakfast, and go to the rink. So I think that will have him thinking less about and having the time to build up his nerves. But it's again, for Flyers fans, this is the future. Like, this is, it's Bump, it's Barkey, it is Michkov, and this young core. This is what we want to see. What is the future going to hold? And I think it is important that he gets an opportunity to get into the lineup and just see what this pace is going to be like in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have lines in, but we'll get to those in a second. I just want to go through these quotes that we have on Barkey first before we get into the lines. So, first one, every time we have a new prospect, we have a guy that I'm not that familiar with that's coming up. Love to go to Elite Prospects first and get like that blurb that they have. It's so helpful. So, the Elite Prospects blurb, Barkey understands how to make plays as a passer. He attracts defenders to create space for teammates, constantly uses them to progress the attack, and layers feints in his stick handling. His quick give and goes only add more pace to his play, and he also knows where and how to position himself to get the puck back in dangerous spots. So that's from the Elite Prospects 2023 NHL Draft Guide. And Brenna, if we could go to the Maddie Campbell quote. So I asked Maddie over at BSH and PHLY for a quick blurb on Denver Barkey because Maddie is actually at those Phantoms games watching this. If anybody knows a lot about Barkey and the Phantoms, it is Maddie. Maddie said, I think he was getting a lot of attention for the offensive burst he was putting up a few weeks ago. Rightfully, he's so fun when his game gets a little flashy. But overall, that offense has been a little up and down. He understandably started a little slow, and the team's been struggling collectively to get their offense going over these last few weeks. But what I've been most impressed by is that even when he hasn't been scoring, he's been playing a high effort type of game. Forechecking well, staying diligent away from the puck. Been really impressed with how mature his game has been in that regard. So I love to hear that. I love to hear that he's been progressing with the Phantoms. I think that was one of the concerns with Ian LaPerriere in there as coach for as long as he was. Everybody loved Lappy, but it seemed like a lot of those prospects weren't really progressing. They really weren't coming along like you wanted them to. And it seems like the Phantoms so far, the guys we've had there have really, been making strides and progressing. So it sounds like Barkey's been maturing quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think the key to this game today, we've heard about his offensive upside and his ability to make plays offensively, but I think the thing I'm going to be most curious to watch for is how he does defend, because I think for young players playing at this pace is shocking. And the jump from the American League to the National Hockey League, as far as speed and the ability for your opponents to make plays, goes up exponentially. So for him to have a successful day, for me, it's not to get lost and running around in the defensive zone, even if it means just holding your defensive position and protecting. He's going to be in charge of holding on to the right defenseman of the New York Rangers. And without Fox, I think that makes his job a little bit easier up top. That's what I'm looking for. How can he defend? And you mentioned it earlier. He's a guy that can play 200 feet. They expect a lot of him being able to defend and playing with that mature level of guy that's just getting into the league. I want to see him in the defensive zone. I want to see him not make big mistakes. I don't want him to turn the puck over in the defensive zone, and I don't want him to be caught looking around going, I am in trouble. So I do think that the defensive zone for him is going to be a big key after this game is over. When the questions are asked of Rick Tocchet, how did he defend? We want to hear, he was safe out there, and I could put him on the ice at any time.
And it's a big factor for Rick Tocchet from what we've seen so far this year. Like, he really likes a guy who can play a strong two-way game. And I want to get into the lineup, but you know what? Let's throw to the ad break, and then we'll do the lineup, and we'll talk about the Rangers out of the ads. The other day, I'm over at a friend's place. He's pumped to watch hockey, but his setup, total mess. Lagging, buffering, switching between apps, trying to find the game. He claimed he was a big fan, but I feel like I've been fan-fished. See, if you call yourself a football or hockey fan, you gotta have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. You can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place. The way I watch, next level. It's the perfect fan flex. I've got all the action right in my living room. Plus, Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K, so clear it feels like I'm in the arena. Sometimes I've got 4 games going at once because why not? On top of all that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide. Bet365 live streams 780,000 events each year. Today, Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. With the Bet365 NHL early payout offer, you're a winner if your team gains a 3-goal lead and an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose. Sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we are back and we are ready to talk lines. I am excited to get into this because these are some funky lines today, Pete. This is really a little bit different than what we've been seeing. And we've gotten so used to having Dvorak and Konechny and Zegras together, especially Dvorak and Zegras. It's going to be really interesting to see how Zegras does away from Dvorak and at center today. So top line, Carl Grundstrom is on the top line with Trevor Zegras and Travis Konechny. And I think Carl Grundstrom's been great, but that's a little shocking to me still. Denver Barkey's with Sean Couturier and Owen Tippett. Matvei Michkov is with Noah Cates and Bobby Brink still. And that fourth line is Nick Delorier, Rodrigo Abels, and Nikita Grabenkin. Defense is staying the same. York Sanheim, Andre Drysdale, and Sealer Ristolainen, which is fine. I have enjoyed the defensive pairings. Woo, let's break this down. All right, so Carl Grundstrom with Zegras and Konechny. What do you think about that?
It's going to be interesting because I tell you one thing you're going to get with Grundstrom is you're going to get that aggressive forecheck, somebody physical in the corner, somebody can help deliver the puck to Zegras. And I think if Zegras is playing in the middle and especially around that net front, you're going to need somebody to get him the puck. And Dvorak has been so good at being able to find Zegras. They need somebody to get on the forecheck. And if they don't get somebody heavier with a little bit of weight that can separate the opponents from the puck, they might be defending too much. I think this is an interesting move by Rick Tocchet, but I see it. And I think what he's also looking for is some balance through these top three lines. I think he needs to feel safe with any of these lines out in any situation because he doesn't get the last change in MSG. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how Zegras. I get concerned about Zegras in the offensive zone being the third guy high and being able to help defend the rush off of transition against the Rangers. Hopefully Grundstrom can help him get out of the zone successfully and help them defend the rush better. I think it's going to be an interesting top line. And really the chemistry with Zegras and Konechny that they've had with Dvorak in the middle has been so good over the last few games that I anticipate that to continue. And one more thing that I was talking about with Zegras earlier. The concern is, especially at the beginning of the season, how poor he was in the faceoff circle and how bad he was to start this season over the last three games. I know he hasn't taken a lot of draws over the last three games, but still 67%, 67%, 50% over the last three games where he has taken more than three faceoffs in a game. That's going to be imperative. Like Zegras has to win some faceoffs if they're going to have the offensive zone time and create some offensive zone chances.
I really hope so. And I'm also curious to see what these power play units are going to look like, just given everything. But I guess we'll see that when hopefully they get a power play. You never know. Second line, Denver Barkey, the rookie, is coming up with Sean Couturier and Owen Tippett. This one is also intriguing. Couturier has kind of had an up and down year, a lot of downs recently. And, Owen Tippett, I think he's the definition of up and down year right there. He is just one of the most maddeningly inconsistent players I've ever seen. I'm hoping Barkey can bring some jam to this line right here.
Yeah, this is a line that if they play well and they play with pace and play with a little bit of grit that we know Couturier can definitely play. And I know Barkey, his small stature, can still play with that motor. This is a line that could be very effective off the rush. They could get some speed going through the neutral zone. And that's one of the ways to beat the New York Rangers, especially with Fox out of the lineup, is to be successful off of transition and get some speed going. I think this is it's safe to put Barkey in with Couturier just because it gives him some stability, gets him that veteran presence, get him with somebody that knows how to play at both ends of the ice. I think this is a really good call by Tocchet, putting him with somebody that knows everything about the game and can help be in his ear off of face-offs after plays and when they're sitting on the bench. So I think it also talks to the point that you want Barkey playing in your top six. Like if you put him on your fourth line and he's playing 7 minutes with Delorier, is he really getting a fair crack to show us what he has and what he's capable of? And that was no knock to Delorier. It's just he's going to have have a better offensive upside playing with Tippett than he is on that fourth line. So I do think this gives an opportunity for the Flyers to see what Barkey can be in a top six role.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like it for those reasons you just named. Fantastic. I also like keeping, you mentioned stability, and I like keeping Michkov, Cates, and Brink together for that stability. I think they're trying to figure out Matvei Michkov in Rick Tocchet and, this entire environment here. And I think keeping him with a smart player in Noah Cates is really good. And I think he's had some nice offensive chemistry with Bobby Brink in those spurts when they've had it. If they can get going today, this could be, a real key to the Flyers winning this game.
Well, and you look at the Flyers through the first 20 games and what this Forster Cates Brink line was able to do and how important that line was in every situation. And I know the injury to Forster was devastating and he's a guy that was just doing everything right to this point, and it really hurts having him out of the lineup. However, this gives Michkov an opportunity to play in a different role. And we've seen the inconsistencies of Michkov's game going up and down, trying to be that top three player. Well, Zegras is filling that role now. Zegras is the guy that's getting those top three starts and those top three opportunities. And maybe this is an opportunity to Michkov to ease himself in, put a little less pressure on, because this line, like you said, they're moving the puck like they did with Forster in the lineup. They're getting offensive opportunities like they did with Forster in the lineup. And I'm going to go out on a limb, and I know we're not betting yet, but I really look for this line to score today. And I don't know if it's coming off the stick of Brink or Michkov, but this line will score, and they will score from a shot. I'm telling you right now, book it, and we can clip this, is that they're going to score a wrist shot from the top of the circle, whether it's through the Royal Road or coming in off the rush. Brink or Michkov is going to get a shot from around the top of the circle that's going to beat Shesterkin clean. And if I'm wrong, I will absolutely wear it. But I have seen Shesterkin giving up these goals from that area over the last 4 games. He's had a problem. And I think this line, because they're so active in the offensive zone and how well they move it through the seam, that I do think this is going to be an opportunity for this line to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and I think that's a good, transition to talk about the Rangers briefly, because I don't really want to talk about this fourth line because it looks like a complete disaster. I mean, I guess you have to have Delorier in there to fight Rempe.
Well, we'll have the Delorier-Rempe thing. Yeah, book that too. Another thing, if they had it to bet on, they are going to fight at center ice in the first 5 minutes. So, well, if they get on the ice in the first 5 minutes. As soon as they get on the ice, they are going to be center ice. I'm telling you, again, that's another one. Book it. Center ice, Madison Square Garden, Delorier-Rempe. I think, and I'll tell you, I don't like these fights. I don't like the stage. I want my tough guys to stick up for my skilled players and keep the other team in check. That's what I like. The 2 tough guys squaring off. There will be a lot of fans in Madison Square Garden that are going to love that matinee bout between Rempe and Delorier at center ice. But I picked that one in the first 7 minutes, and now we can move on.
Love it right there. Love it. And by the way, if you do want to we're going to do the bets in a second, but if you do want to bet on Matvei Michkov to score a goal today, that is currently on Bet365 at plus 275. So pretty good odds.
Wow, I like it.
So go for it right there. We'll have the bets in a second. Real quick on the Rangers, they have been miserable at home this year. That is my biggest factor for them. Overall, this is a beatable team right here. They're 2 points below the Flyers in the standings with 3 more games played, and they are a putrid 4-10-3 at home this year. So this is, even with, I think, all the issues with Ersson and net, with this weird lineup, this is still a winnable game for the Flyers.
Without a doubt. I mean, no one in hockey can understand why this team is not playing better at home. They have one win in their last 5. They have 0 regulation wins in their last 5 home games. 0. They have in their last two home games, 1 goal in their last 2 home games. This is a team that really struggles at home. And I think that's, as we get to the keys, this is going to be important. This home, their inability to play at home. And I think it's important for Philadelphia to push them hard early. This is a team that's 31st in scoring at home. 31st, the New York Rangers. That's what Panarin and Zibanejad. And one thing to look for, Panarin's a guy that clearly drives the offense for this team. He leads the Rangers in points against the Philadelphia Flyers in his career. But he didn't play last game because he was sick and he was out of the lineup, not feeling well. They anticipate him to be back in the lineup today, but that's one thing to look for. If Panarin is unable to go today, he has been the best Ranger against this Flyers team, but this is a team that can't score. They just can't score at home. And so it's going to be interesting to see how well the Flyers defend. And the Flyers are a team that don't give up a lot of shots. And when they're defending well, they can be dangerous to play against in goals against. So The Flyers are 7th in road goals against, where New York Rangers are 31st, 31st in goals for at home. So this is going to be one of those key metrics in seeing who is going to be better on the Madison Square Garden ice.
Yeah, absolutely. And Petey, you mentioned those keys to the game. Let's buzz through those real quick.
The keys to the game, let's put them up, because of course I don't write stuff down. Why don't I write stuff down? But it was just like we said, the 5-on-5, play 5-on-5. Don't get in the box. And honestly, the power play hasn't been great for the Flyers either. They haven't scored on the power play. They're 0 for their last 16 attempts. So I don't know if the power play is the way to go for the Flyers either. Play this game 5-on-5. The Flyers are a better team 5-on-5 than the New York Rangers are when the New York Rangers are playing home. So I think it's incredibly important that they play their start on time. And what do I mean by that? It's in a matinee game. You're not in your routine. You're not getting your regular pregame meal, your pregame nap. It's different. So be ready to play, because these two teams, whoever is ahead at the end of the first period, neither one of these teams has lost when they're ahead after the first. So whoever has that lead after the first period is incredibly important. No turnovers at the blue lines. And I tell you, during this road trip, and it started with Ty Murchison on the road, the Arizona State product, throwing the puck away through the middle of the ice, causing a goal against. This is a team, the Flyers, that cannot afford to get New York on their transition game. They can't turn pucks over in the middle of the ice. And that means between the dots, between the blue lines, that little rectangle between the dots, between the blue lines, they have to manage the puck well, and that means off the glass and in if they have to. Do not turn the puck over between those blue lines. The Rangers are too good, too quick in transition, especially if Panarin is in the lineup. Get to the blue paint on Shesterkin. Shesterkin can be one of the best, if not the best goalie in the National Hockey League. He has that ability. You got to take away his eyes. You got to get in front of him. You got to have tips, screens, and rebounds if you're going to be able to get the puck by Shesterkin. So I think those are the 4 big things for the Philadelphia Flyers today against the Rangers.
Great. Beautiful. Those are great keys right there. Let's get to our picks now before we get on out of here. We got a couple super chats too. So we got a couple things to get through. Here are our pets presented by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365. We got 2 today. First one, Trevor Zegras, 1+ goals. That's plus 240. Let's go for it. Trevor Zegras, he leads the Flyers in points and goals. If anybody's going to score, it's likely going to be him. Although him at center is going to be real interesting. I had Dvorak in there for a point today before it turned out he was scratched. So womp womp. Other one I have is a fun one. This is just for a couple bucks, just for S's and G's right there. But let's go for the Philly sweep today. There's 3 Philly teams playing: Flyers, Eagles, and Sixers, plus 565. Let's do it. Let's get a clean sweep for Philadelphia today.
I love it. I love it. Let's go. Let's go. I think this is going to be an interesting game. I do think it's surprising when you look at the Philadelphia Flyers right now, Steve. And I think this is a very, very, very big game right now. That 33 games played with 40 points. If they keep up this pace, and I don't know if that's possible, that's a 99-point season. And if they have 99 points, guess who's in the playoffs? If they can just keep up the winning pace they have now, this is a playoff team. And nobody, including me, had this team as a playoff team when this team started a year ago. This is what I like to do against teams that struggle. Last year, 14, 15, and 4 for 32 points. They're 8 points ahead already of last year's pace. That's phenomenal, 33 games in. So let's see if they can continue this in Madison Square Garden.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love for them to continue it. I love beating the Rangers. Let's get to these super chats before we get on out of here today. All right. So first we have Blessed Martian. Why not give Kolosov the start? I wonder the timing on this Vladar injury. I wonder when, it was confirmed, because Danny Briere said it was a boo-boo, right? And that he might not be, he might be back as soon as Monday. So I wonder if it was just a very minor thing that they were hoping that he'd be able to play. And Kolosov is just basically like the emergency because they were really hoping that he'd be able to start.
Yeah, and Kolosov hasn't played since November 2nd, and that's a long time. And I talked about how important this game is. No morning skate, so he doesn't get extra shots. He can't get prepared. I think it would be absolutely unfair to throw him into the Wolves in Madison Square Garden after not playing for nearly 2 months and not getting a morning skate. I know Ersson struggled a little bit against Buffalo. I know it. I get it. But you look at the game before that where he takes the Carolina Hurricanes to a shootout, and I thought he played particularly well in that game, even though he comes out of it with the loss. You have to go with the guy that gives you the best chance to win today. And we're not trying to build Kolosov's future. We're not trying to see where he is long-term. We're not trying to get his confidence built up. The Flyers need to win today. And Sam Ersson gives them the best chance to win today.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you there. Let's go to the next one. All right, we got JH says hi, Petey.
Yeah, that was easy. Hi. Well, it's good to be back. Had my coffee already. Got a lot of juice. I will say this again. I don't know if the Flyers like day games, but Petey does.
I love day games.
Oh, buddy, let's go. I go to bed. I'm almost 60 years old. I go to bed at 9. Like, let's go. Let's get these games.
I got my
every
espresso.
game.
I got my green tea.
Really?
I'm
Espresso? I did the tea. So I'll definitely stay awake during today's game. Do not worry.
We got one more, and we are going to head on out of here. All right, JH, Steve, you and Bill have to dump your bad friends. He has the same complaints about his friend setup. Is it the same friend? Do they know they're getting torched in the show? At least Xfinity work. Listen, just don't get fan-fished, okay? You don't want to get fan-fished. We're just trying to warn you out there. That's all.
Yeah, get that Xfinity. Let's go.
Quality product right there. All right, and I think that's it, right, Brenna? All right. Yeah, Brenna's not in the studio for you to yell at. She's chatting it. We're good to go. All right, folks, we will catch you on postgame. Let's go, Flyers.